Hi, I'm Marion. We're going to talk about monologues, and we'll do it in 5 sessions. To start, I just want to make sure you know what a monologue is. A monologue is when one person speaks and acts out on stage. It can be a shortened piece from a longer script. A monologue could also be a piece that is short anyway, written that way. I've got several that I've written that are linked below, and it gives you some monologues and it gives you tips for memorizing. Now, in a monologue, when you first pick one up and you read it, you've got to figure out who are you talking to? The audience or someone nearby, maybe the person's right there, Mom, or are you talking just to yourself? Okay, I've got to get this and this and this done. Who are you talking to? I have samples of several monologues that I have. One is called the oral book report. And at the beginning and at the end, the person talks to somebody off stage. So it might look something like this. Nobody disturb me. I have to practice my oral book report. My book report is on... Okay, so the rest of the time the person's mainly talking to themselves. Now I'm not going to go like this the whole time. No. I'm still going to kind of face the audience as I'm doing that. And just to show you, I have my small version, and then I put my large version. Can you see how large print that is, right? And I just put it down in front of me sometimes when I'm almost memorized and might have to look at that. My book report is on, okay? Now, there are others that I picked. In Zoo, the main character is also talking to themselves, but at some point they're talking to everybody else. This kid has lost their parents somewhere and found a $10 bill, and they're happy about it. Yeah, I've seen everybody. And then they call out to the people in the zoo. Has anybody seen, where is that? Has anyone seen a couple wearing matching t-shirts and dorky hats? I guess not. Okay, so at that point, the person's actually talking to pretend characters, not to the audience. Not necessarily to the audience, although you can make your audience be the people that you're talking to. I have another one that's called Pizza Order. And in this one, the main character is talking to everybody in the room. I always imagine that this was a sleepover or something, and the person's calling to find out and talking on the phone at the same time talking to the person sitting there and sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. So it gets quite confusing. And then I have another one that's called The Prime Minister's Speech. And it's a science fiction because it's happening on another world. And in this case, since it's a speech, I get to talk to the whole audience. So, you have to figure out who you are, and we'll talk about, who you're talking to, okay? And none of these are on that list of monologues that I have for you. They're totally different. So you will have to figure out who you're talking to. Then you have to figure out who you are. And we'll discuss that more in session 3. Then, the next thing is to figure out where you are. Indoors, outdoors. Living room, your room, park, school, where are you? The more you're able to visualize where everybody is, then the easier it becomes. So maybe like with Pizza Order, I'm going to decide that I've got person 1 right there. Person 2 is right there, and person 3 is right there. Now I'm visualizing. Maybe we're all in a room, we've been playing games, now it's time to order the pizza. So I'm going to start here. Hi, I want to order a pizza. Do you have any specials going? Okay, hold on a minute and let me ask. Okay, you guys. The special is the gigantic extra. It comes with up to 5 toppings. So what do we want? Wait a minute. You're going too fast. Hold on. Hello? Okay, we want a gigantic extra with pepperoni, onion, bell pepper, mushrooms, anchovies. Those are little fishes. And sausage. 6. Oh, no, not the anchovies. That's it. Wait a minute, what? What's wrong with bell pepper? Okay, are you there? Could you take off the bell pepper? Thanks. Hold on. So, I'm here talking to the person on the phone. I'm here talking to the people in my room with me, okay? So, that's why you want to visualize. That's the kind of thing that you want to do. And if you're talking to yourself, for instance, an oral book report, I always imagine that I'm trying to practice in front of the mirror or something. So maybe I come in. Nobody disturb me. I have to practice my oral book report. My book report is on... I can't say that. Mrs. Roberts said not to start with, my book report is on. How else do I start it? The book I read is, this wonderful book is called, I'm reporting about, no. I'll start with something exciting. It was a dark and stormy night. Ooh, that's good. It was a dark and stormy night when I read this book. It was good. Oh, dull again. It was a dark and stormy night as I read this marvelous, intense, fantastic, fabulous, intense. It was a dark and stormy night as I read the intense novel. Turn off the TV. It's distracting. It was a dark and stormy night. The TV was distracting. Okay? So that's not the whole thing, but you get the picture. So are you talking to yourself? And where are you talking to yourself? Are you looking in the mirror? Or are you not looking in the mirror? Now, are you talking to somebody out that way or somebody out that way? You got to figure these things out. All right, so visualize it. Now, memorizing. I want to talk to you about memorizing and some tips that I have. Now, again, these tips are actually on my downloadable monologues that will be linked down below. Okay, so here we go. So, first of all, when you're memorizing, it will always take time. That's number 1. Number 2 is you have to do it over and over again. Sorry, that's what happens. And it's better if you do it several times a week rather than just one long weekend and I'm going to do this. And I know some of you guys memorize so easily and so well. Please remember, you do not want to sound like you're reading it. Don't memorize it by just reading it. Lucky I found that $10 bill on the ground. I was hungry, especially after running around the zoo all day. I don't think I missed a thing. I saw the tigers that... No. Even when you're rehearsing, say it with expression. And we'll talk more about that later, but it's easier to memorize as you do expressions. So here's some other things that I do. I will start from the top. I'll read the first line, go back to the top, read the first line and the second line, etc. Like this. Lucky I found that $10 bill on the ground. Lucky I found that $10 bill on the ground. I was hungry. Lucky I found that $10 bill on the ground. I was hungry, especially after running around the zoo all day. Lucky I found that $10 bill on the ground. I was hungry, especially after running around the zoo all day. I don't think I missed a thing. Okay, and then I'd start over and go down and start all over a lot. Now, the other thing I've done to memorize things is to start from the bottom, because I usually remember the first part and then it's the last part that I kind of mess up on. So I do the same thing going up. I'll wait for my parents there. I wonder what I can get at the gift shop for $8. I'll wait for my parents there. Guess not. I wonder what I'll get at the gift shop for I wonder, sorry, I wonder what I can get at the gift shop for $8. I'll wait for my parents there. Has anyone seen a couple wearing matching t-shirts and dorky hats? Guess not. I wonder what I can get at the gift shop for $8. I guess I'll wait for my parents there. Okay, so I'm starting from the bottom and going up and up and up. I mean, it seems tedious, but yeah, it's hard to memorize, especially monologues. Sometimes it's much, much, much easier in a play because I'll say something, he'll say something, she'll say something, you'll say something, and then it's my turn again. Yay! I get to say yes, or you bet, or no thank you. You know, I don't know. Depends on the play, of course. But sometimes it's much easier when you're not the only one doing it. That's why many times the monologues are the things that get me, catch me, and I have a harder time. Once I was in a play where I had a very long spiel that was much longer than this thing was, right? And so what I ended up doing is memorizing it by those two techniques that I mentioned, but also by recording it. I recorded it on my computer and then put that onto my Kindle and then listened to that while I drove, while I washed dishes, while I folded clothes, while I was laying there in bed not able to go to sleep. But I listened to it and listened to it and listened to it because it was important for me to get that monologue. And it was important to me for me to get all of those lines, but I used that monologue. So that is another technique, is record it and listen to it whenever you're walking around, moving around, biking. No, don't do it when you're biking. I want you to hear the traffic. Time, I already told you that. It takes time no matter how you slice it. Regular rehearsal. You know, when I said don't just do it once a week, but do it several times a week, that's regular rehearsal, okay? Line by line, I showed you how I did that from the, read the first one, read the first, read the second, read the first, second, third, read the first, second, third, fourth, etc., okay? Or the last one, the next to the last one, and the last one, the next to the last one, the next to the last one, and the last, you get the drift. Okay. Oh, that's right. The look and look away technique. Lucky I found that $10 bill on the ground. I was hungry. Lucky I found that $10 bill on the ground. I was hungry. Especially after running around the zoo all day. I don't think I missed a thing. I saw the tigers that never move. Okay, so I glance, I see it, I look at it, I kind of sort of memorize it a little bit, and then I look away. So that's another technique you can do, look away. Then another one is, guys, rehearse with movement. You know that play that I was in, that I told you had the long monologue in it? Oh man, I decided the only way I was going to memorize this if I had a movement for each thing, okay? If I were doing the same thing for this one, I'd pretend I had something in my hand to eat, number one, right? Where is it? Going for the little one now, so I'm not holding the big one in my hand. I'd make sure every time I was doing that. Every time. Lucky I found that $10 bill on the ground. I was hungry. And I do that every time. Lucky I found that $10 bill on the ground. I was hungry. Now, what am I going to do for, especially after running around the zoo all day? Now I can do this, but I don't want to do that. Especially after running around the zoo all day. Okay, I just did my round, so now I remember I'm doing rounds. So I'm and and So you can memorize with gestures as well. That helps. All right, what else? Record, I said that. Partner up, get a helper. My husband has been in a lot of plays, and he and I have done a lot of plays, but he tells me that whenever he was in a play, his mom would help him while he was trying to learn things, and he'd be doing something like, anyway, she'd be sitting there, he'd go, here, take my script, remember, tell me when I get it wrong, so maybe I'd give that to you guys, and you would help me out. So, mom, dad, siblings, whoever you want, somebody you meet, somebody that you Zoom or video chat with, or just send them the thing and call them, send them your script and call them. So, there you go. So, that is memorizing. Anything else? Oh, okay, here's the deal. Word perfect. You are welcome to try for word perfect, but don't stress it too much. Yes, you want to try, but at least start by getting the main ideas. My main ideas in zoo is I found some money and I'm eating. I've been running around the zoo all day. I saw everything. That's the part that I haven't read to you guys yet. And then I wonder where my parents are. Has anyone seen them? Okay, so basically that's it. Now, that's not all. There's still a lot of lines here. But if I can get myself to think in terms of, I found some money, I'm hungry, I'm running all around the zoo all day, I saw the bears, I saw the elephants, I'd hate to clean up their mess. Let's see, I saw the birds and the snakes and the giraffes, and I've seen everything. Too bad I don't know where my parents are. Okay, I know the gist. I know approximately what this monologue is supposed to be, right? So yeah, try for word perfect. But also just make sure you get the gist of it. And if you are ready to perform and you forget one little word, just go on, okay? Just go plowing ahead, people. All right. Here's your challenge, should you choose to accept it. Find yourself a monologue. It can be one of the ones that I wrote, or it can be one of the ones that you happen to have picked out, whether it's something like Shakespeare or from another play that you really like. Okay, so that is your challenge, should you decide to accept it. And when you got one, write it down in the comments below and just say, got it, so I know that you've got your monologue ready, because at the end of the 5 weeks I want you to perform it and post it. I mean, if you can, if you want, it's not a big stress deal right now. We're just learning about the monologues, but it would be fun. It would be fun to see it. That's it for today. See you later.